tryna say I'm only in the me. Got a code with my dogs, can't get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Amen.
What is up? First NFL stream in the same country as JJ this season. Feels good to be back. If actually back, not like that bullshit last one. JJ, how are we feeling, man?
Feeling good, Got a doubleheader. It looks like we're about to get a lot of these, so we'll have a lot to cover over the next couple Mondays. It looks like for probably the next 2 months at least.
Yeah, we
have 2 or 3 doubleheaders for Monday nights.
Yeah, we got a lot of video to cover, or a lot of content to cover.
Yes,
we'll let some people start rolling in. Since I know we just started the Twitch, and that's where a lot of the people are going to come from. They got to hit the link. They got to subscribe. All that fun stuff. So before we get into that, go over yesterday a little bit. Obviously, Packers, Dallas, 40-40. That was an absolutely ridiculous game. Hello, how are we doing in the chat? Appreciate you, Alex. Thank you for the congratulations on the engagement. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Go Reds. I'm loving it, Jay Manning. Shout out to all Ohioans and Reds fans who finally made the playoffs for once. I think the issue was that I didn't live in Ohio yet. Now that I'm finally locked in as a Reds fan, now we make the playoffs. I think that's how it changes. Mike Cortez, how we doing? Welcome in. Appreciate everybody that clicked the link and is coming in. So we got some viewers in. We can start rolling with this thing, make it efficient. Since I know 2 games, one of them always starts a little early. Which was the game you said we got first?
Jets and Dolphins.
Jets and Dolphins. I know everybody is super excited about that one. 2 just absolute Super Bowl contenders right there. I'm not going to lie. Irrespective of this game, just in general, I'm kind of high on the Jets, at least higher than consensus. I think they're the kind of team that nobody really gets excited to play against, even though they're probably going to be favored and win.
Yeah, I think Jets are one of those teams. I think their offense will do just enough, but I think their defense will figure it out, but probably about week 6 or so.
Yeah.
I don't quite remember when their bye is, but I think right after their bye, I think this team has a chance to take off a little bit more than what people were expecting coming into the season,
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, dude, Aaron Glenn, say what you want about him as a coach, like from an X's and O's standpoint. That dude is a leader of men. Same way Dan Campbell, like people question, like, oh, should he be going for it on 4th down? Is he that good of a play caller? That dude is a leader of men. Those guys somehow find success in the NFL, unless your name's Robert Saleh. Then you can't go past defensive coordinator, apparently. But about this game, I'm going to start things off with the run game because I have a bet on the run side of things. I know you've been working on a little bit of a model to measure rushing matchups, and you love to dive deep into that stuff. So I'll let you have the floor first on how the rushing matchup should be on both sides of the ball. But we can start with the Jets.
Yeah, with the Jets, they're running a lot of zone concept runs. And, I think, where is it at?
I can tell you right now, Miami is not good versus zone concept.
No.
I think every important stat, like EPA, explosive rush rate, stuff rate, yards before contact, yards after, they were bottom 10 in the NFL in literally every stat. So at least per FTN, obviously everybody uses different sources. Stuff like a little bit more of those niche statistics, different sources will have different results. But for the most part, they should somewhat agree. And that's at least what I saw in FTN.
Yeah, Brees Hall's had a lot of tough matchups. Yeah. But, obviously he took off week 1. I think there is potential he puts up another one of those 100-plus yard games here, just on the ground alone.
I mean, that dude is a walking explosive play.
Yeah. I mean, he just had to face Tampa, who limited Saquon to 2.2 yards per carry and Bijan to 2 yards per carry. There was nothing he was going to do there. And then the Bills game, that game script was running from this jump,
Have you seen the rush rate over expected?
I have not.
Bro, but so last game, obviously no Justin Fields, but the 2 games before it was minus 13.2%.
Yeah.
So they're really saying, unless we're down by 20, we're not throwing the ball. Everybody's betting on Garrett Wilson today. Obviously, like he has like a 80% target share right now. I get it. But it's one of those things where if you're like putting yourself in the mind of the coach, it's like they clearly want to run the ball. So I don't want to bet on anything except them running the ball.
That's exactly where I was at. I took the rushing over for Brees Hall, the 56.5. I wouldn't
rushing, but yeah.
In the receiving game too, because his targets per route run against their coverages are pretty good as well.
Isn't it second on the team behind Garrett Wilson, obviously?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, sounds about right.
There.
And by the way, as we go through this, if anybody has suggestions of either things they want to suggest to others or they want us to talk about, feel free to put in the chat, please. The whole point of doing this on Twitch and YouTube is to have you guys engaging as much as possible. But on the Miami side, A-Chain, Ollie Gordon. Some people are trying to hype up Ollie Gordon. This isn't like the whole like Woody Marks and Nick Chubb situation where it's like obviously Woody Marks the dog. Nick Chubb shouldn't be taking an 80% rush share. So like over time, he's going to take it. Bro, A-Chain's nice. He's a dog. They clearly want to use him. Ollie Gordon is good. They're probably going to find ways to use him. But it's one of those things where I feel like that's a bet people are only taking because it's a primetime game, not because like they would not touch that prop on Sunday slates.
Yeah. But, Ollie is the bigger back. If they get in that goal line situation, he probably will be that guy.
Yeah.
He looked pretty good doing it last week. Yeah.
Who do you think is getting the first touchdown in that first game? I guess I haven't looked into what the whole like some coaches like to defer, some coaches like to take the ball. So that stuff people don't usually look at it, but that plays a pretty big part in first touchdown bets. If I just had to say who I think is most likely to get a touchdown, I think we'll get into that as we get deeper into this. Basically, for those who are newer, what we kind of do for these primetime games, we target a money line, player prop, and a touchdown prop, and we make that like a 3-leg parlay. So we'll get into the touchdown bet specifically because I'm going to basically be researching that live. But we got some recommendations here. But as far as the matchup, what do you think of Miami's matchup?
I think Miami, I think they could pass it. They can run it here. Just because the Jets defense has been a little shaky defending the pass. But you got A-Chan back there. They're going to use him in so many different ways. They're going to use him in the slot. They're going to use him in the backfield. Based on what I've seen, like the EPA stuff and some like other like rushing over expected, I think there's a chance he does have a pretty good matchup here. He could go off. But I think in the passing game, I do like Waddle. I know you was talking about that on the Twitter account, MCA.
Yep. For everybody that has
would you say Yak? Was it Yak he was targeting?
Yak and yards per completion. I'll pull it up on the screen here. Hold on. Here we are. So the site, for one thing, has him projected 53.9 yards. The betting line's 48.5, so obviously lean the over. But he's had 6 and 5 targets so far, and he's going against the team, like JJ said, who's giving up the most yards after catch per reception and most yards per completion. When he faced a team that ranks in the bottom 12 in that stat and has at least 4 targets, he's over in 10 of 15 games since 2023. And it's not like his production so far has been dependent on deep balls. And like he's only had 21 or less air yards in 2 out of the 3 games. Usually that scares us when we're looking at over receiving yards. But again, in a matchup like this where it's dependent on Yak, it's almost better because if you're allowing a lot of Yak, it most likely means you're catching it and running on like a crosser, less so like a deep ball where you catch it 40 yards down the field and run another 40. So the plays and the matchup is more catered to him catching and running if his air yards are low. So that's the way that I kind of viewed it. And, it makes sense. Last year, there was only 3 games. Obviously, Tua was injured for a lot of it. There was Jonnu Smith in the mix, so his targets were kind of weird. But in those 3 games that fit this criteria, he had 99, 144, and 45 yards. And by the way, I said he missed in 5 of those 15 games. 4 of those misses came against Buffalo or Kansas City, 2 against each. So just something to keep in mind that this game is not against either of those teams. But yeah, all we had to add from that. But yeah, I think it's Waddle. A lot of people on Darren Waller in this one, and we talked about it a little bit before we went live. They said he's going to be limited. They didn't give us an exact number. 9.5 yards is very low for a guy who clearly is in a receiving role in this team. However, like if he gets 7 snaps, not route snaps, I wouldn't be surprised. It's not like he's going to come in and save the season. He's 2 years removed from actually playing a snap in the NFL, 1.5. I don't know what the exact number is. It's very risky to bet on a player in that scenario. Mind you, you didn't really have a preseason with a team that he's never been a part of because he's been injured. So I understand. We all know who Darren Waller is. We see a line that low. It's prime time. You want to bite. Personally, it's not worth it to me. Not that I think it's going to miss. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, it's one of those you just kind of got to wait and see. Coach Speak does want to sort of back him up, but for someone that's been out of football for so long, yeah, he's only a couple of weeks in, but I don't trust him right now to have like that much of an edge on him,
I agree. Anything else we need to cover in that game from maybe, I don't know if you have anything to talk about with Tua or I'm blanking.
Miami blitzes at a pretty ridiculous rate. I believe it's top 3 in the league, and they don't get much pressure. Unfortunately, they're bottom 3 in that category as well. So when it comes to Justin Fields, I don't think he's going to have to scramble that much.
Yeah, I was about to say, if they're not getting pressure, it's actually the opposite of what I normally target. Usually I want high pressure, low blitz. High pressure, low sack. This is going to be the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, it's like one of my leans was Justin Fields under 47.5 rushing yards for the simple fact that he's now coming off that concussion. I don't know how many design runs they're going to really give him, but he hasn't really scrambled much. He's like pretty average to below average in scramble rate when he's not getting pressured.
Yeah. You remember that McDaniel quote about Justin Fields?
I don't.
I think it was when he was with Chicago, but Justin Fields ripped him for I want to say it was 70, 80 rushing yards. And he had a 30-yard rushing that landed right in front of him. And Mike McDaniel was like, "Hey, dude, can you just stop?" So I have a feeling.
I remember it now.
Yeah, I have a feeling the game plan is going to be around not letting him run and force him to be the passer. But I also think the Jets are just not going to be passing the ball much anyway, so I don't know if it's going to matter.
No. That whole offense is designed to just move the ball downfield, get in scoring position, get some points.
Yeah. Just some quick questions in the chat before we move on to the next game. Thoughts on Tua completions at 22+. Are the Jets still playing a lot of man coverage, or have they kind of changed that this season?
Let me take a quick look.
Yeah, I can pull it up real quick as well. But obviously that's – for my kind of rule of thumb is if a team plays a lot of zone, usually the over completions or completion percentage is good. But then if they play a lot of man, it's usually the opposite. It usually leads to more chunk plays, but less completion rate. So I'm checking
right
on
it. Jets look like they're top 10.
And what, man coverage rate?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're literally at 16th in terms of completion percentage allowed. If I want to go to, can I see adjusted completion percentage? No, I can't right now. So, accuracy rate. Let's see. They're allowing the 4th highest accurate throw rate, though. So, is there regression due there? Wouldn't be surprised. 22 completions is kind of a lot, though. So, it just depends on how much you actually expect them to be throwing the ball. This is for the next game, so we can table that one. Because I know you have something to say there. So stay away from Fields' rush attempts maybe at 8.5. If you think that they won't change anything because of the concussion, you can go ahead and take it. We don't think it's that big of a risk because we don't think he's going to get much scramble opportunities either.
Yeah. So it all depends on his design rushing attempts if you think that goes up or down.
Yep. Ladder Breeze, somebody asked. I don't hate it. I made this mistake with Jordan Mason last week, and I'm kind of mad at myself for it. I'm trying to stay away from laddering players with already high lines. Granted, they're going to get a bunch of usage, but it's one of those things where it's just the margin of error on those is just so much slimmer. So it just gets tougher. Like if you like a player and their betting line's at 80, but you can, instead of laddering them to 100, I'd almost just rather put them in a lotto parlay for 100. I feel like that's how I've been attacking it this season. So far, it's served me well, but small sample size. All right, next game now.
Yeah, Broncos and Bengals.
Who dey?
When did they come up with that?
It's the chant that they have that nobody ever look like. You think these chants are meant to be like intimidating and tough, but nobody in Cincinnati ever looks tough when they do it. It's just my Bengals friends are gonna hate me, but it looks kind of corny to me.
Yeah.
But anyways, about the actual game. Obviously, no Joe Burrow. We got Jake Browning in there. Whoa, sorry about that, guys. Doesn't inspire much confidence to anybody. But obviously, that offensive line has not been good. They have not helped Chase Brown out at all. I came into the season being lower than consensus on Chase Brown. There's a lot of people that are just be like, oh, Chase Brown sucks now. He's actually pretty good. It's just that offensive line. But does he have a negative yards before contact per attempt?
Before contact?
I think it might be negative. Which, if anybody's wondering, outside of the guys like DeAndre Swift, who are just like naturally bad at finding holes, that is an offensive line stat, not a running back stat. So just something to keep in mind since let's see. Efficiency, yards before contact. This is defense. Hold on. That was the issue. Here we go. Yeah, Chase Brown has negative yards before contact. You want to know the only other two players with negative yards before contact in the NFL so far? I'll give you a hint. Neither of them are running backs.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It's Matthew Stafford and Matthew Golden, so it doesn't count. Chase Brown is getting no help. Unfortunately, he plays the Broncos today. I don't know how much more help he's going to get. However, it can't get worse. So his lines are already low enough where I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know which straights you're on. I saw the Bo Nix write-up. I don't know if you're on Chase Brown under rush yards, but I'm going to say his lines are already too low for me.
Yeah, his lines are too low. One of them we are on the same play, though.
On Chase Brown?
No, we're on T. Higgins.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go. So we can segue right into that for the Bengals because run game, already bad in a bad matchup. We got the Sertan Curtan on Jamar Chase. There's going to have to be yards coming from somewhere. They clearly don't like using Yoshi Voss and their tight ends and they don't funnel targets to them. So if Chase is getting the curtain and Chase Brown is getting the issues that he has, somebody else has to get yards. Enter T. Higgins. Jake Browning might only throw 30% completion rate. He might have to throw 50 times. The line's still way too low for T. Higgins. What line do you? I got 49.5.
I got 47.
Fuck you. I don't know why the line dropped. There's no news that came out. I was pissed when I saw that.
Yeah, it's like when you look at these wide receiver twos, Alec had 7 targets in week 1, 129 air yards, only 13 yards. But obviously that offense is horrible, so he wasn't able to produce the yards that he should get. Then you got Josh Downs, 8 targets, 65 air yards, 51 yards. And then week 3, Keenan Allen, 11 targets, 97 air yards, and then 65 actual yards. These wide receiver twos are going to get targets.
It's so low that there could be a DPI that screws us or a drop and we still hit. There's so much room for error with a line this low for a player like T. Higgins. And we could cash this on 6 normal targets or 3 targets with 1 big play. That with the player T. Higgins is, in a matchup like this, the line doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm
I'm
glad
willing to bet he gets at least one big play for the simple fact that the Broncos are allowing the most air yards in the league through the first 3 weeks. And the fourth or fifth highest A dot? Like, it's bound to happen to have at least a couple of deep shots, especially from Jake Browning, he's a gunslinger type of quarterback. Will it be accurate? Probably not. But he's going to air it out.
TBD.
He's going to take chances. He's not going to check down unless it's actually designed screen pass. If it's not a design screen pass, he's going to throw it downfield.
All right, so I'm putting everything on the screen for us right now, and the line is 47.5. So let me adjust properly. And as we can see on the left-hand side, is the quality good enough for you guys to be able to see the text or no? Should I zoom in? JJ, you can let me know too, however it looks on yours. But air yards per game allowed, dead last in the NFL. Number 32 means the most. Yards per completion, number 27 per completion, not per game, per completion. Yards after reception per catch, fourth worst. So yeah, it's just nothing's looking good in terms of defense. I think we all came in pretty high on. Not that it's like problematic. It's just for prop betting, it makes it pretty easy to look at it. And we can go to last year too, just to see a bigger sample size. Obviously, this is with Joe Burrow, so the way I kind of see it is take every stat and lower it by like I'll say 5 yards, not 10, because he was also battling through that injury. But we want to do that, and I look at the whole season. So we're looking at 47.5. Let's move to 52.5 for that 5-yard gap. The Joe Burrow effect is what we'll call it. Over in 10 of 12 games. And then if we want to look at games with or against teams that allow a bunch of air yards, let's check. I mean, look at that. Nothing but green. The 10 highest teams he played in air yards allowed per game, he was over 9 of 10 of them. That's with the 5-yard bump. Against teams that allowed, let's say, yards per completion, we're going to see a lot of the same thing. Pretty much any above average team, 53 plus yards each of them. Again, with Joe Burrow, but again, the bump, we're accounting for that. If you want to go back to 2023, where we can look for games without Burrow. One second. He was over in 3 of 5 games. The 2 misses with KC, terrible for outside wide receivers who like deep balls because of the 2 high man coverage. And Jacksonville. Still over 140, 61, and 72. So, like, the line's too low. That's all I'm trying to say. Anything else you want to touch on in that game?
Broncos are going to be blitzing a lot, and he still does pretty well against it. I wrote it down. Where is it at? I think I put it on the Twitter. T. Higgins, where you at? So against the blitz so far this season, 2.35 yards per route run, 23% target per route run, and 22% first read share. And then when you look against man coverage, 4.06 yards per route run, 33% target per route run, and 35% first read share. So, I mean, he looks to be in a great spot here.
Love it. On the Broncos side, what are you seeing? Because I know you have a play there.
Yeah, play there.
I missed this question in the chat. Somebody asked about Chase Brown over on receiving yards or receptions, just to round out the Bengals side of things. I personally don't have as much of a read on it. If I had to, I'd probably say over receiving yards because receptions are already juiced over 2.5. 3.5 is a bit high, but they're going to want to get him involved. His route share is going to be high. 16.5 is a low enough line. At least that's what it was when I checked. That thing's worth a shot if you like it.
Yeah, so I guess P. Ryan hurt his finger, but he's been a full participant all week. But I don't think a broken finger really affect his practicing that much too, because it doesn't really limit your legs. But I guess it comes in the pass game. Like, can he catch the ball and all that? I guess that's the biggest thing. And they could give some extra route running to Chase Brown for that, because P. Ryan has been the main passing down back. But yeah, it's kind of hard to tell right now.
Yep. All right, we can get into the Broncos now. Sorry about that.
No, you get it. Broncos, I think overall, both of these teams play pretty faster, like top 10 in pace, especially the Broncos. And I think Bo Nix, I have him over 21.5 completions. I think this is a perfect spot to get him right. I know he's been a little bit off with his throwing things. Off target rate's been like one of the worst in the league. Yet he's still gone over this line in 2 out of 3 games. I mean, the only miss was against the Chargers, where he threw 24 times only. But pass rate over expectation, I believe, is top 5 for the Broncos. So, I mean, they're going to be airing it out. I don't see any other reason not to. You had Joe Flacco completing 31 passes and Trevor Lawrence completing 24. I mean, of all things, we've seen how Joe Flacco has looked the past couple of weeks. It does not look good.
Lines definitely showed us that.
Yeah.
How do you think that affects Dobbins today? Because he seems he's the popular one that I feel like everybody's talking about in that game.
I feel like I'd rather see some like explosive runs from Dobbins. It sounds like they kind of want to get both a little bit more even in the split. I don't think we're going to see that much of a bump for RJ Harvey, but maybe a few extra. But I think it's still going to be able to run the ball pretty well. But I just think this team, with the 5th highest pass rate over expectation, this game is going to rely on running the ball or passing the ball here.
4th highest pass rate over expectation now.
Yeah. And it's like, when you look at this defense, they're 26 in DVOA against the run and the pass. You can kind of do whatever you want. But I just know the way you're going to play pretty fast. You want quick completions. You want to get your quarterback more confident. I think, just throwing a ball, them easy completions, it's going to help him a lot here. How are you going to be bottom 5 in off-target throws? He's like all the hype coming into the off season. They got to get his motivation going up a little bit.
Yeah,
confidence. He's not going to face much pressure either.
No,
the Bengals don't blitz, and they're one of the worst in getting pressure as well. So I think he should have a lot of time throwing in the pocket.
Yeah, a question I got a decent bit about on the MCA Twitter was people want to know what to think of Portland Sutton today. His line is high. 66.5 receiving yards. I feel like the week before is at like 45.5. Obviously, he went crazy. He had like 100-something yards. But now he gets a team that they allow a high yards per completion, but a lot of it is also yak. Kind of like what I talked about with Jalen Waddle. It's like if a team is allowing a lot of yards after catch, like you're catching it and running it underneath. It's less about the deep ball. So, the Bengals are bad at everything, but a team would rather have, like, if you're a coach running up the scheme, you'd rather have a 5-yard throw that goes 20 yards after the catch than just a 25-yard throw. Bigger risk of like waiting for the route to develop and taking a sack, or ball getting tipped and interception. Like it's just, again, in the mind of the coach. But the key thing for me is he hasn't passed 9 targets yet on the season, or 4 deep targets in a game. And last year, when he had less than 10 targets and less than 5 deep targets, he was under in 6 of 7 games. So you're kind of playing a lottery game with him, where it's like, okay, you're only going to have a few big chances, because Sutton's not a catch and run 25 yards off the screen type of guy. It's just a matter of does he bring him down or not. And so with that, what we can pivot to is play that I post. Let me pull it up real quick. Troy Franklin over 3.5 receptions. last season there was a lot of hype about him developing and him having a good connection with Bo Nix. They played in college together. But like he was still only playing like 60% of routes. It wasn't that sticky. Now he's had back-to-back games over 90% of routes. He's averaging both last season and this season about 20 targets per out run. So having a 4 reception line feels very low, especially JJ. Like you said, you're on his over completions and for good reason. So if they're going to be throwing a lot, and his second receiver who fits the matchup better than Cortland Sutton does is at 3.5 receptions. 2 + 2 is not difficult math. It is 4. So we're taking him over receptions. There's not really anybody else I'm like confident in receiving the ball outside of for the Broncos, like on a game-to-game basis. Like, yeah, the tight ends will show up here and there. There'll be like a wide receiver 3 or 4, a couple running back receptions. But like when you think Broncos receiving, you think Cortland Sutton and now Troy Franklin. If it's not a better matchup for Cortland Sutton and Troy Franklin has the low line, we're going to bet Troy Franklin. It is a little bit of that simple. And right on cue, we got somebody asking, Evan Ingram, 21.5 receiving yards. Even in the first game before he got injured, his route share was surprisingly low. Like I want to say it was like 50 or 60%, which is not, I think, what you want. With that being said, 21.5 receiving yards is a low line. We know Cincinnati's notoriously not good for tight ends, so I don't hate it. But it's like a less risky version of what we were talking about with Darren Waller, for me at least, where I'm just like, is it worth the risk? Is the opportunity going to be there enough? Are you putting yourself in position to get fucked by variance? And I feel like with bets like those, you are. Do you have any different read on Evan Ingram?
I'm kind of right there with you, but I do think he can be a good outlet for Bo Nix on those third downs when they just need something quick. If he's going to get the yards, kind of hard to say, but I think he will get a couple receptions.
Speaking of tight ends, we were talking about this one before we started streaming too. Mason Taylor. I personally, I feel like what I learned probably the last couple years is the hyped up young tight ends. So tight ends is the position that takes the longest to develop. Like with quarterbacks, obviously you want to sit them for a year, but usually they can go out of the gate. Wide receivers, you see them usually build out, and then like by like the bye week, mid-season, they break out. Running backs usually need like 2 or 3 weeks. Tight ends, I think I saw somebody break down like even like round 1, 2, 3 tight ends. It takes them like 2 years to really look like the tight end that you wanted when they drafted. So when there's tight end hype in year 1 and year 2, it'll show up here and there, but the consistency of it from a game-to-game basis is really tough to rely on, because then it's less about matchup and it's more just about like where are they in the development, how does the coach feel about it, like, and I know that he's been hyped up a lot. So if you remove the fact that he's a rookie and you just look at the coach speak in the matchup, it's a great bet. Don't get me wrong. But between what we've seen with like Laporta, Dalton Kincaid, Kyle Pitts, where we just see these guys where at the end of the season, you look at the stats and like, oh, he had a really good season. But I guarantee you most of the people that bet on individual games probably lost a decent bit of money. So it's not a bad bet. Again, the bet is a good bet. However, it's one that I feel like I've lacked success on personally. So I'm going to learn from my mistakes and try to stay away from those in my own bet slips.
I would say, like, kind of go off what you said, temper expectations, but I think I feel all right with like a little sprinkle for like a ladder just because of the coach speak and all that. I think that's kind of the route I would go.
Yeah, if it's right, it's going to be really right. So like, you might as well take him for 40 plus instead of just 20.
Yep.
All right, let's get into this parlay.
Let's do it.
All right, I looked at some of the systems because I feel like that's what we would always start with last year. Bengals plus 7.5 seems to be the one that is in the best system. Teams coming off a 31 plus point loss. are 75-27 against the spread the next game. However, 4-5 in the last 9. Or 4-5-1 in the last 10. There was a tie in there. Where was the other one?
The bounce backs were part of my write-up with T. Higgins as well.
Yeah. Moderate underdogs bouncing back after 30-plus point loss. 80-39 overall, 7-3 in the last 10. So, from a system standpoint, that's where we can tackle it. From a gameplay standpoint, strength and weaknesses, Jets in Miami personally don't have a side I love from a money line or spread standpoint. I feel like those division games always get not weird isn't the right word, but it's just like these teams have seen each other so many times that they have game plans that go outside of, oh, this team is good or bad against the run or bad at running the ball. We're going to do this. That usually goes into like the normal matchups. There's always an extra 2-3 layers to the game plan because they've seen each other 2-3 times in the last year. So yeah, I'd like to focus on the Bengals-Broncos game. We get that key 7 number with the Bengals if we wanted to do that. And with the Broncos not having the best pass defense so far, I feel like if there's going to be any time to go and get them, it's going to be or to bet against them, it's right now until they figure it out. So we'll go with Bengals 7.5 plus 7.5. All right, that's the spread. For the touchdowns, I was looking into it a little bit earlier. In terms of rushing touchdown percentage, Denver and Miami both rank in the top 11 in passing touchdown percentage. But the Jets are also allowed the second highest percentage of rushing touchdowns against them. Bengals are pretty middle of the pack, so there's not much of an edge there. So I guess let's put it this way. What team do you expect to be the highest scoring touchdown team besides the Bengals? I don't know if that would be your answer.
It probably had to be, if you're talking about touchdowns, it probably had to be between Broncos and Dolphins, probably, right?
Okay, so then I'd say we go Dolphins since Cincinnati's the one that we don't have that much of an edge on. Dolphins will be facing the Jets, who they're the ones that have the second highest rushing touchdown percentage allowed. A-Chain hasn't been getting the red zone work, has he?
It's been Ollie, I believe.
So do we want to go get Ollie Gordon touchdown?
It's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now.
Let's see what the odds on that are. Plus 310. That's actually crazy. Maybe I don't think DraftKings allows it. Because you can do the either or touchdown bet.
Yeah.
Let me see if FanDuel will let us put it in an SGP. FanDuel doesn't even offer it, does it? Oh, yes, they do. There we go. Even though their SGP odds have been fucking atrocious this season. But we can get Ollie Gordon and they don't even have Ollie Gordon as an option. Bro, this is stupid. Oh, actually, no, we're good. We just need a player prop on the Bengals side to make it work if we're going to do it on DraftKings. Because if we can't SGP it, then we wouldn't need to do an SGP. If Ollie Gordon and whoever is the only one.
Yeah.
All right. Are we just going to go T. Higgins then?
Got to.
Yeah.
It's T. Higgins day.
Ollie Gordon or who? We can either go passing prop or receiver on the other side or just him and A-Chain.
Him and A-Chain. All
right, bet. Let me see if I can find it.
Because A-Chain could just go get a screen pass for a touchdown too.
No. I feel like it's also, if let's say a team scores 3 touchdowns, it's so unlikely that none of them are a rushing touchdown, and 2, it's not going to run one in. So
yeah.
Ollie Gordon or Breece Hall. Trying to find it. They don't make it easy to find. Okay. Hey, Bruno. I'll find it on my computer. So T. Higgins, Ollie Gordon, or A-Chain touchdown if they have it, and Bengals plus 7.5. We're locked in for anybody listening. Can you type in the chat while I'm locking it in?
Yep.
And I'm sure there's a boost involved somehow. There always is. Touchdown scores either.
She said Bengals plus 7.5.
Bengals plus 7.5. Let's see. Oh, there it is. A-Chain or Ollie. Minus 235, but oh well. I want to hit. We need to get one under our belt. Plus 7.5 and T Higgins 50 plus. Where's T? There we are. We're looking at plus 398 without a boost. Let's see what boost I can find on DK. And I'll screenshot and put it up on the screen for you guys.
All right, so I put it in the chat.
Yep, Monday Night Football, 33% boost. Let's go. All right, let me log in on my phone so I can get a cleaner screenshot because DraftKings doesn't like to make anything easy on me. DraftKings needs to update their UI, man.
Mm-hmm.
Parlay. There we go. Saved photos. Here we go. Any other questions in the chat before we sign off with this thing? Other than that, shout out to everybody that joined on Twitch, by the way. I wasn't sure what that turnout was going to be. Obviously, it's our first time. Twitch isn't a new platform, but we've been doing it on YouTube and playback for a while. But we know how popular this one is. We finally decided to just do what the people wanted. We know more people have Twitch, so came for you, Dr. Profit. Well, you're going to stay for JJ because JJ's the fucking man. Got to put some respect on his name, too. Not going to let that slide. Nice to meet the other guy.
Nice meeting you, too.
All right, here's the parlay. Full disclosure, my bet max on this was $5. I'm going to lock it in without the boost as well, but I know most people have a bigger boost max than $5. So go lock that in. Let's make some money. If I don't know any other books that's FanDuel that offers the either player to score prop, which they didn't have Ollie Gordon. If you know any and you can SGP this, please let me know, and I'll check to see if this has better odds. Otherwise, make sure you guys subscribe to the Twitch if you haven't already. Same with YouTube if you're on there. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on. Well, we're doing another live stream for Thursday Night Football, but we'll do some more content between then and there. Real quick, yes, for a first game only parlay, I'd go this touchdown bet. Brees, we're both on Brees Hall rushing. I'm on rush plus receiving. He's on rushing. And do we have any other prop in that game?
No, but I do lean Jets to win that game.
Jets to win. I like that too. So you need a parlay, Jets money line, A-Chain or Gordon, anytime touchdown, and Brees Hall, some sort of Brees Hall rushing receiving prop. Take care, everybody. We will see you guys soon.